The massive screens in the Galactic Council's main chamber displayed images of a blue-green planet, spinning slowly in the darkness of space. Council members from 100 different species leaned forward, their eyes fixed on the world that would soon change everything they thought they knew about the universe. "Another life-bearing planet," announced Head Counselor Smith, his golden scales reflecting the light from the screens. "But this one is different." The room fell silent as data streams appeared beside the planet's image. Numbers and measurements flashed across the screen, causing several council members to gasp. Some even backed away from their seats. "Impossible," muttered Science Director Jones, his forearms typing frantically on his console. "The gravity is crushing, the temperature swings are extreme, and the atmosphere." He paused, double-checking his readings. "The atmosphere is filled with corrosive oxygen." More data poured in as the Council's probe continued its scan. The planet's surface was a nightmare of active volcanoes, violent storms, and ever-shifting tectonic plates. Massive oceans covered most of the surface, filled with salt water that would burn the skin of most galactic species. But what truly horrified the Council wasn't the planet itself. It was what they found living on it. "There are intelligent beings down there," Director Jones announced, his voice trembling. "They call themselves humans." The chamber erupted in confused chatter. How could anything intelligent evolve on such a deadly world? The readings showed that these humans weren't just surviving. They were thriving. They had built cities, developed technology, and were even beginning to reach for the stars. "This cannot be allowed to continue," declared Head Counselor Smith, bringing order to the chaos. "These humans, they've evolved in conditions that would kill any normal species. Their bones must be like steel, their muscles incredibly dense. They breathe poison and drink acid. They're practically invincible by our standards." The security chief, a tall being named Brown, stepped forward. "What if they leave their planet? They could unintentionally destroy entire civilizations. Their very bodies would be weapons." The council members murmured in agreement. Images of humans accidentally crushing other species with a friendly pat, or poisoning entire rooms just by breathing, filled their minds. "We have no choice," Head Counselor Smith decided. "For the safety of the galaxy, we must contain them. We'll create an energy shield around their entire solar system. They'll never know we exist, and the galaxy will be safe from these Deathworld monsters." The vote was unanimous. Within days, massive shield generators were positioned around Earth's solar system, hidden from human detection. The Council watched with relief as the shield shimmed into place, believing they had just saved the galaxy from a terrible threat. But as the Council congratulated themselves on their quick action, they missed something crucial in their final scan of Earth. In a secret facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, a human scientist looked up from her quantum scanner and smiled. Well, she said to her colleagues, "It seems we're not alone after all, and they think they can contain us. This should be interesting." The Council had made their move, but they would soon learn that underestimating humans was the biggest mistake they could have made. The massive energy shield around Earth's solar system hummed with power, invisible to human eyes, but blazing like a beacon to the Galactic Council's monitoring stations. 3 months had passed since its activation, and the Council's observation room buzzed with activity as they watched their containment project with growing satisfaction. "Report status," commanded Head Counselor Smith, studying the massive holographic display showing Earth and its neighboring planets trapped within their cosmic cage. "The shield is performing perfectly," Director Jones replied, his forearms moving smoothly across multiple control panels. The humans show no sign of detecting it. Their primitive satellites pass right through, but anything more advanced gets deflected. The Council had designed the shield cleverly. It allowed simple radio waves and early-stage spacecraft to pass through, maintaining the illusion of an empty universe for the humans. But any advanced warp signatures or quantum communications would bounce right off. "Look at them," Security Chief Brown muttered, zooming in on Earth's surface. They're going about their daily lives, completely unaware that they're imprisoned in their own solar system. The screen showed cities bustling with activity. Humans walked their streets, drove their vehicles, and lived their lives while totally unaware of the galaxy-spanning civilization that watched their every move. Or so the Council thought. Deep in the heart of a mountain research facility, a group of human scientists huddled around their instruments, examining readings that shouldn't have been possible. "There it is again," said Dr. Wilson, tapping her screen. "The quantum fluctuations are absolutely uniform. This isn't natural. It's artificial." Her colleague, Dr. Green, nodded while studying his own data. "The pattern extends in every direction, forming a perfect sphere around our solar system. Someone put this here, and they're trying very hard to hide it from us." Back in the council chamber, the aliens continued their surveillance, blissfully unaware that their containment had already been compromised. "I still think we should have destroyed them," grumbled one council member, his tentacles twitching nervously. "A Class 12 Deathworld species is too dangerous to exist." "We are not murderers," Head Counselor Smith replied firmly. "The containment is our most humane option. They can live their lives in peace, and the galaxy remains safe from their biological hazards." As if to emphasize his point, the main screen showed a human construction site. The workers were casually lifting metal beams that would have required powered exoskeletons for most alien species. They breathed their toxic oxygen atmosphere and endured temperature swings that would kill most galactic citizens instantly. "Besides," Director Jones added, "their technology is centuries behind ours. By the time they develop anything capable of detecting the shield, we'll have improved it 100 times over." The council members nodded in agreement, content in their technological superiority. None of them noticed the small anomaly in the shield's power readings, a tiny fluctuation that appeared every time Earth's most advanced quantum laboratories ran their tests. In the mountain facility, Dr. Wilson smiled as she completed another scan. "Well," she said, "I think it's time to inform the Defense Council. We're definitely not alone in the universe, and someone out there is very, very afraid of us." The containment of humanity was secure, perfect, and absolutely impenetrable. At least, that's what the Galactic Council kept telling themselves. The Council's research division worked tirelessly, analyzing every broadcast signal that passed through their containment shield. What had started as a simple monitoring operation had turned into something far more concerning. "Head Counselor, you need to see this," Director Jones said, his forearms trembling as he pulled up a series of human television broadcasts, internet communications, and scientific papers onto the main screen. The images flashed rapidly: humans splitting atoms, manipulating genes, building quantum computers, and even taking their first steps into space exploration. But what truly alarmed the Council was the speed of human advancement. "This can't be right," Head Counselor Smith muttered, his golden scales dulling with worry. According to these records, they went from primitive flight to landing on their moon in just 66 years. The research team had discovered something else disturbing. Humans didn't just survive on their Deathworld. They constantly pushed its limits. They climbed its highest mountains, explored its deepest oceans, and even built cities in its most hostile deserts. "There's more," Security Chief Brown added, bringing up another display. "Look at their entertainment broadcasts." The screen showed humans imagining future worlds, dreaming of faster-than-light travel, and creating stories about meeting alien civilizations. Some of these stories came eerily close to their current situation. "They're not just adapting to challenges," Director Jones explained. "They're actively seeking them out. When they don't have problems to solve, they invent new ones just to test themselves." In one corner of the display, a human science fiction show played silently. The council members watched with growing unease as the fictional humans in the show easily broke through an alien containment field. "It's just entertainment," Security Chief Brown said quickly, noticing the worried looks. "They couldn't possibly." An alarm suddenly blared through the chamber. Director Jones rushed to his console, all four hands flying across the controls. "We're detecting unusual energy patterns near the shield," he announced. "They're coming from their quantum research facilities." The council members watched in silence as more data poured in. The humans weren't just studying quantum mechanics, they were already pushing boundaries that most civilizations took millennia to reach. "How?" asked Head Counselor Smith. "How are they advancing so quickly?" "It's their death world," Director Jones replied. "Every challenge they face becomes a puzzle to solve. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to innovate. They don't just survive problems, they learn from them." On Earth, in countless laboratories and research centers, humans continued their work, unaware they were causing panic in the galaxy's highest governing body. Their natural curiosity and drive to understand the universe was doing exactly what it had always done, pushing boundaries and finding answers. "Should we strengthen the shield?" Security Chief Brown suggested. Head Counselor Smith shook his head slowly. "No, any significant change might alert them to its presence. We must maintain the illusion that they're alone in the universe." But as the council debated their next move, a young human researcher in an underground lab looked up from her quantum scanner with excitement in her eyes. "Hey boss," she called out, "I think you should see this. These energy readings, they're definitely artificial. And they're coming from outside our solar system." The council's greatest fear was slowly becoming reality. Their containment wasn't just failing, it was teaching humans exactly what to look for. The Galactic Council's chamber had never been so tense. Director Jones stood before the emergency session, his 4 arms clutching various data tablets as he delivered the news no one wanted to hear. "The humans are probing the shield," he announced, causing a wave of frightened whispers to sweep through the room. "They're not just detecting it, they're studying it." The main screen showed dozens of human research facilities, all running similar experiments. Their quantum sensors were becoming more refined, more focused, and more concerning with each passing day. "Impossible," shouted one council member. "Their technology shouldn't be advanced enough." Head Counselor Smith raised his hand for silence. "Show us the human leading this research." The screen changed to show Dr. Tom Baker, a brilliant quantum physicist working in a facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The council watched as he directed his team, pointing at readings that clearly showed the shield's energy signature. "The barrier isn't natural," Dr. Baker explained to his colleagues, unaware that his words were being monitored. "These patterns are too perfect, too structured. Someone put this here." Security Chief Brown stepped forward. "We should act now, before they learn more." "And do what?" Director Jones asked. "Any interference would only confirm their suspicions." The council's attention snapped back to the screen as Dr. Baker made an unexpected move. He walked to the center of his lab, looked straight up, and spoke clearly and confidently. "To whoever built this containment field, we know you're there. We understand you might be afraid of us. Our world is harsh, and we've grown strong because of it. But strength doesn't equal aggression." The council chamber fell silent. It was as if the human was speaking directly to them. "If you can hear this," Dr. Baker continued, "I suggest you remove the shield peacefully. We're a curious species, and we don't like being caged. This is not a threat. It's a friendly warning." Head Counselor Smith scoffed. "The arrogance. They think they can make demands." But Director Jones wasn't laughing. His sensors showed something alarming. The humans weren't just studying the shield anymore. They were beginning to understand it. "Council members," he said gravely, "I've analyzed their rate of progress. At their current pace, they'll fully comprehend the shield's quantum structure within months, not years as we predicted. Then we must strengthen it." Security Chief Brown insisted. "That would only accelerate their research," Director Jones replied. "They're like children with a puzzle. The harder we make it, the more determined they become to solve it." On Earth, Dr. Baker and his team continued their work, methodically unraveling the mysteries of the containment field. They had already mapped its basic structure and were starting to understand its weaknesses. "It's beautiful engineering," Dr. Baker told his team. studying the latest data. But like all cages, it has its flaws. We just need to find the right key. Back in the council chamber, the alien leaders argued about their next move, unaware that their time was running out. They had built the perfect prison for a normal species, but humanity had long since proven they were anything but normal. Dr. Baker's warning hung in the air, ignored but prophetic. The humans weren't asking for permission to leave. They were simply being polite before they let themselves out. Alarms blared throughout the Galactic Council's monitoring station. Red lights flashed across the massive control room as Director Jones and his team scrambled to understand what was happening. "Impossible," Jones shouted, all four arms working different control panels. "The shield's quantum matrix is fluctuating." On the main screen, a small ship appeared near Earth's orbit. It was a human vessel, nothing special by galactic standards, except for the strange energy field surrounding it. Head Counselor Smith burst into the control room. "Report. What's happening?" "The humans," Director Jones said, his voice filled with disbelief. "They're not trying to break the shield. They're facing through it." The council watched in stunned silence as Engineer Mary Wilson's voice came through their monitors. She stood calmly at her ship's control panel, speaking to Earth's mission control. "Quantum harmonizer is stable," she reported. "Shield frequency matched. We're proceeding with test phase." The human ship glided forward, its modified energy field perfectly matching the containment shield's frequency. Like a ghost passing through a wall, the vessel slipped through the barrier that was supposed to be impenetrable. "How?" Security Chief Brown demanded. "How did they decode the quantum patterns so quickly?" Director Jones pulled up Dr. Baker's research data. "They didn't break it. They copied it. They turned our own technology against us." More alarms sounded. The main display showed dozens of similar energy signatures appearing around Earth. The humans weren't just testing their discovery. They were already mass-producing it. "This is Wilson," came the engineer's voice again. "First test successful. Sending data to all space agencies. The barrier is no longer an obstacle." Panic erupted in the council chamber. Some members demanded immediate military action. Others called for full retreat. But it was already too late. "More ships detecting," a junior monitor shouted. "They're appearing everywhere. London, Moscow, Beijing, Washington." Head Counselor Smith watched in horror as human vessels of all sizes began passing through their perfect containment shield as if it wasn't even there. Each ship carried the same modified energy field, each one proving that humanity had casually solved what the Council thought was impossible. "We have to do something," Security Chief Brown insisted. But Director Jones just laughed, a hollow, defeated sound. "Do what? Fight them. That would only prove we've been their jailers. Try to contain them again. They'd just find another way out. They always do." On Earth, Mary Wilson's ship completed its circuit around the containment shield and prepared to return home. She made one final broadcast, knowing their watchers would hear it. "To our unknown neighbors, thank you for the interesting puzzle. We would have preferred a simple hello, but this works too. We're coming out now. Let's talk like civilized beings." The Council could only watch as humanity casually stepped out of their cosmic prison, armed with nothing but curiosity and their newly borrowed technology. They hadn't escaped like frightened prisoners or angry captives. They had simply decided it was time to leave, and so they did. Director Jones looked at his stunned colleagues and spoke the words they all feared. "The Deathworlders are loose, and they want to talk." The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The Deathworlders had broken free. Trading posts fell silent as ships brought word of human vessels appearing in various sectors. Space stations went into lockdown. Planetary defense systems activated. But the expected invasion never came. Instead, a human trade ship docked at Galaxy Central Station, the largest trading hub in the sector. Its crew walked out casually, wearing simple environmental suits to protect others from their deadly oxygen-rich biology. "Hello," the human captain said, addressing the terrified station manager. "We'd like to trade. We have some interesting metals from our world. Very durable stuff." The station manager, a tall blue-skinned being named Blue, stared in disbelief. These were the monsters everyone feared. They were just shopping. You want to trade?" Blue asked carefully. "Of course," the captain replied cheerfully. "Why else would we come to a trading station? Oh, and don't worry about the suits. We know our atmosphere is toxic to most species. We came prepared." Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Human ships appeared at various ports, always peaceful, always ready to trade. They brought metals forged in Earth's high gravity, medicines developed to fight their world's deadly diseases, and technology built to withstand extreme conditions. In the council chamber, chaos reigned. "They're everywhere," Security Chief Brown shouted, pointing at the map showing human ships scattered across the galaxy. "But they're not attacking. They're trading." Director Jones studied the reports flooding in. "They're exchanging goods, sharing technology," and he paused, double-checking his data. "Offering engineering services. Apparently, their experience with extreme environments makes them excellent problem solvers." A message arrived from a mining colony on a high-gravity world. The humans had helped them redesign their equipment, making it 10 times more efficient. Another report came from a space station with structural problems. Human engineers had reinforced it using techniques developed for earthquake-resistant buildings on Earth. "This isn't what was supposed to happen," Head Counselor Smith muttered. "They were supposed to be dangerous." "Oh, they are dangerous," Director Jones replied, "but not in the way we thought. They're dangerous because they're making themselves useful, valuable, necessary." The council watched as more reports came in. Humans were hiring themselves out as rescue workers, able to enter environments too hostile for other species. Their medical knowledge, developed to fight Earth's countless diseases, was revolutionizing galactic healthcare. "We can't stop this," Security Chief Brown realized. "They're not conquering the galaxy. They're becoming part of it." In a small trading post near the galactic core, a human engineer helped repair a damaged ship while its alien crew watched in amazement. She worked without powered assistance, her Deathworld-evolved muscles easily handling the heavy equipment. "How do you do these things so easily?" one of the aliens asked. The engineer shrugged. "When you grow up on Earth, you learn to adapt. Speaking of which, would you be interested in trading for some of our construction techniques? We have some great ideas about structural reinforcement." The council's worst nightmare had come true. The humans had escaped. But instead of the predicted disaster, they were doing what humans did best: adapting, trading, helping, and turning a crisis into an opportunity. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council's research chamber had been working non-stop for weeks. Director Jones and his team had finally begun a proper study of human history, something they should have done before trying to contain them. "Play the historical records," Head Counselor Smith ordered, his golden scales dim with worry. The main screen lit up with Earth's past. The council watched in stunned silence as the story of humanity unfolded before them. Their planet tried to kill them many times. Director Jones explained, pointing to various events: ice ages, supervolcanoes, meteor impacts. But they survived. Not just survived, they thrived. The images showed early humans facing massive predators with nothing but sharpened sticks. They watched as humans spread across their world, adapting to every environment from frozen tundra to burning deserts. "Here's where it gets interesting," Director Jones continued. "Look what they did when their very survival was threatened." The screen showed humans discovering fire, inventing tools, creating medicines. With each disaster, with each challenge, they grew stronger, smarter, more innovative. "They survived their own nuclear weapons," gasped Security Chief Brown, watching records of the Cold War. "They developed such destructive power and managed not to destroy themselves." "That's not the impressive part," Director Jones replied. "Look what they did after that." The display showed humans cleaning up radiation, rebuilding cities, developing peaceful uses for atomic power. They took their most terrible weapon and turned it into a tool for progress. They don't just survive disasters, Head Counselor Smith realized. They learn from them. Every challenge makes them more adaptable. More images flashed across the screen. Humans fighting deadly diseases and then using that knowledge to develop advanced medicines, surviving natural disasters, and using that experience to build better cities. Even their wars, horrible as they were, pushed their technology forward. And we thought we could contain them. Security Chief Brown asked, shaking his head. "We made 3 crucial mistakes," Director Jones explained. "First, we assumed their harsh world made them primitive. In reality, it made them resourceful. The screen showed humans turning deadly plants into medicines, dangerous animals into livestock, hostile environments into homes. Second," he continued, "we thought their isolation would weaken them. Instead, it made them more self-reliant. Images appeared of humans solving problems on their own, developing unique solutions without help from any other species. And third," Head Counselor Smith asked quietly, "we thought they would react with fear or anger to our containment field. Instead, they saw it as an interesting puzzle to solve, a challenge to overcome, just like everything else in their history." The final images showed humans working together, sharing knowledge, collaborating across their world to understand and defeat the Council's barrier. In the silence that followed, a junior researcher spoke up. "Should we be afraid of them?" Director Jones looked at the ongoing reports of human ships throughout the galaxy, all of them peaceful, all of them helping and trading rather than conquering. "No," he replied, "but we should be very glad they chose to be friendly. Because now we know, if humanity wanted to fight, they've had plenty of practice at overcoming impossible odds." The Council members watched their screens, showing humans peacefully integrating into galactic society, and wondered what other surprises Earth's children would bring to the stars. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council had never seen a day quite like this. Captain James Miller stood calmly at the center of the chamber, his environmental suit gleaming under the bright lights. He faced the entire council without a trace of fear or uncertainty. "We demand that all humans return to Earth immediately," Head Counselor Smith announced, trying to sound authoritative. "Your presence across the galaxy is unauthorized." Captain Miller's laugh echoed through his suit's speakers. "Unauthorized? By whom? We were never asked for authorization in the first place when you put that shield around our system." The council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They weren't used to being challenged so directly. "It's for the galaxy's safety," Security Chief Brown insisted. "Your species is too dangerous to roam freely. You're from a Deathworld." "About that," Miller said, pulling out a small data device, "I have something to show you." The main screen lit up with images that made the council gasp. Human colonies, dozens of them, scattered across the galaxy. Some had been established for years, hidden from the council's notice. "Impossible," Director Jones exclaimed, all 4 arms checking different data screens. "The shield. It was perfect." "Almost perfect," Miller corrected. "But we found the frequency fluctuations 5 years ago. Been coming and going as we pleased ever since. Those colonies you see, they're all thriving. And not one incident of us accidentally destroying anything with our dangerous biology." Head Counselor Smith's scales paled. "You've been free all this time." "Free?" Miller shook his head. "We were never really trapped. We just played along until we were ready for full contact." It seemed polite. The council chamber erupted in confused chatter. Some members demanded immediate military action, while others called for negotiations. "Let me be clear," Miller continued, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We're not asking for permission to be here. We're informing you of the reality that already exists. Humans are part of this galaxy now." Director Jones studied the colony data carefully. "These settlements, they're all on worlds other species found uninhabitable. Exactly, Miller smiled. We're not taking anyone's territory. We're settling the worlds you can't use. Extreme gravity, perfect for us. Poison atmosphere, we'll wear suits. High radiation, we've dealt with worse. The council members looked at each other uncertainly. Everything they'd feared about humans was true. They were incredibly tough, adaptable, and impossible to contain. But everything they'd assumed about human behavior was wrong. And if we refuse to accept this, Head Counselor Smith asked. Then nothing changes, Miller shrugged. We'll keep trading, keeping to ourselves, and helping where we can. We're not conquerors, we're neighbors. Bad neighbors build walls. Good neighbors help each other. Security Chief Brown leaned forward. You're saying we have no choice. You always have a choice, Miller replied. You can choose to keep fearing us, or you can choose to work with us. We survived Earth by adapting and cooperating. We'd rather do the same here. The council chamber fell silent as the truth sank in. The humans hadn't escaped. They'd simply chosen when to reveal themselves. And now they were offering friendship instead of demanding revenge. Head Counselor Smith looked at the human colonies again, peaceful and productive, and realized the choice had already been made for them. The Galactic Council's emergency session had stretched into its third day. The chamber buzzed with activity as representatives from every major species debated humanity's new status in the galaxy. Finally, Head Counselor Smith rose to deliver the council's decision. After careful consideration, he announced, his golden scales now shining with renewed confidence, the council recognizes humanity as a sovereign spacefaring civilization, with all rights and responsibilities that status entails. The chamber erupted in a mixture of applause and worried murmurs. Director Jones stepped forward with the official classification update. Earth is hereby reclassified, he declared, all 4 arms working on the central console. No longer a quarantined Deathworld, but an advanced Deathworld civilization, the first of its kind in our records. Captain Miller, still present as Earth's representative, nodded in approval. And the containment shield will be dismantled immediately, Security Chief Brown confirmed, though he couldn't hide his nervous twitch. Though it seems rather pointless now. The screens around the chamber showed human ships already helping to take down the massive shield generators. Their experience with extreme environments made them perfect for the dangerous work. There's more, Head Counselor Smith continued. The Council has a request for humanity. Miller raised an eyebrow inside his environmental suit. Oh, we need your help. The words seemed to pain Smith, but he continued. There are missions too dangerous for our normal teams. Rescue operations in high-gravity worlds, research projects in toxic environments, exploration of extreme worlds. The very things that made you fear us, Miller smiled, are now what make us valuable. Precisely, Director Jones agreed. Your species' adaptability isn't a threat. It's an asset. Will you help? Of course, Miller replied. That's what neighbors do. The main screen displayed new data. Joint human-alien projects already in progress. Humans teaching other species their survival techniques. Alien scientists learning Earth's medical advances. A true exchange of knowledge and skills. There's still fear out there, Security Chief Brown warned. Not everyone will accept humans so easily. They'll learn, Miller said confidently. Just like you did. Fear comes from not understanding. So let them get to know us. Let them see that strength doesn't have to mean threat. The Council watched as more reports came in from across the galaxy. Human rescue teams pulling survivors from a collapsed mine on a high-gravity world. Human doctors sharing Earth's medical techniques. Human engineers teaching others how to build structures that could withstand almost anything. We did everything wrong, Head Counselor Smith admitted. We found a species stronger than us and assumed they were dangerous. We tried to cage them and only proved their resourcefulness. We treated them as threats when we should have seen them as teachers. Not everything wrong, Miller corrected. You gave us time to prove ourselves. And now, He gestured to the screens showing humans and aliens working together across the galaxy. Now we're all stronger for it. The council session ended with a new understanding. Humanity had not just survived their death world. They had mastered it. And now they would help others do the same. The galaxy had feared the humans who escaped their cage. Instead, they found friends who could teach them how to overcome their own limitations, one impossible challenge at a time.